Alrighty. Hello everyone, and welcome to the basic introduction of the tutorial coming up for Exalt. Exalt is a platform for web development that is supposed to make things easier, simpler, and faster. So today I'm just going to show you guys the introductions on the command line interface, the toolchain, and the core, which is like how everything's handled. So let's get into it, shall we? So we're going to start in a simple command process, and we're going to install the command line interface. So we can do npm I tac global and then the name, which is @exalt/CLI. What that's going to do is that's going to build it for us, and that should be good to go. So now we're going to wait for that to install, and then we can do exalt create, and then usually you want the name and the options. For us today, we don't need the options, we just need the name. So we're going to call this introductions. So we're going to wait for that to install. So in the command line interface, there are going to be different settings that we are able to communicate with. So in the command line interface, we will have 3 different commands. We'll have npm run dev, npm run build, and npm run start. And I'll show you guys those just in a second. So npm run dev combines npm run build and npm run start into one command. But let's say that you didn't want to always run your thing while having it build. We can split up into build as well as start. So we can show you here. npm run dev, which is going to run exalt, cd into introductions. My apologies. So we go into there, and then wait for it to start, and boom, we're good to go. As you guys can see, I already had one open. So we have hello world here. It builds fast and it's running, so that's cool. So we can stop that for now. So now for our other commands, we have exalt build, and it's going to build the dist, which contains our exalt configs and our app settings. So in our app settings, we just have everything here in the source and the public into one folder, and then it runs it. So what that gives us the ability to do is it gives us the ability to run exalt start, and what exalt start does is just runs the server. So we go back here, same thing. So now with the toolchain, that's where exalt.json gets involved. So in the toolchain, we have a few settings. So we have library, which tells us, hey, we want this to be a library, or we don't want it to be a library. What the library does is it allows you to import the library as a module without having to put it up on npm, for example, or do the whole settings for a module. Then we have target. That's just the target compiling language that you want. ESM, which would in this case be ES 2015, and so on. Minify is whether you want the file to be one line or if you want it to be massive. Source map, if you want the source map or not. Paths, so in paths, you can set the path. Let's say we have a directory called, and I'll just show it in here. Let's say we have dist. What we could do is you could go comma paths is equal to here, and we could say we want to go from dist, so just do .dist. And then when we do import from, we can do import dist from actually just dist, and that would work. Then we have dev server, which has 3 options you could do. So then the dev server, we have open, which if it automatically opens the web browser or not, so you typically want to set that to false. Port, which is just the port that you want to host on, so it could be like 3000 or it could be 80. And then you have headers. So headers, you could just do like authorization, for example, and it will work. So that is the basic command line interface and toolchain. So let's get into the core. So with the core, we're going to go into source, and I'll show you guys how this all runs first. So typically, the only time you'll want to edit this file is if you're modifying the main page. So we're going to start by creating a components folder, and we're going to create our first component. Well done. So we're just going to name this name shower, I guess. So what we can do, if you guys want to look at this template real quick, so you guys import component, and then you also import the template, so HTML in this case, from @exalt/core. Then you're going to want, let's say that we want to have a CSS. We could do name shower.css, for example. And then go back to our file, and we'll do import style, or we'll just say import style1 from, and then /name shower.css. Cool. Now let's create our component. So we'll do export class, the name of the component, which is name shower, extends component, which we imported above. Now in here, we're just going to simply render what we have inside the render method, and we'll return HTML template. We'll close that off, and then we'll just return h1, and we'll close that for now. Now, one final thing that we need to do, and we added one too many here. So one final thing, in order for this to actually run, we have to create the component itself. So for that, you're going to do component.create the name, which in this case will be name shower, or name shower, however you guys want to pronounce it. And then we'll add styles is equal to an array of the style that you have. For example, we just have one, so we're good. Comma, and then the class, so name, and you are done. For this file, at least. Then you can go back to index.js, and you can do import ./component/name shower, and that's all you need to do. So now, anytime in any component, whether it's the index or it's another component, you can do the name, the entire tag name that you gave, and then whatever you want else. We'll just close it off for now, and it will render. So now if we save that and go here, and we are going to add, actually we're going to teach you guys some methods first. So we have 5 methods. We have render, mount, unmount, onUpdate, and shouldUpdate. So when mount is executed when you add it to the DOM. So render is like, think of it this way. Render has all these in one. So mount, as soon as it is put on the DOM, you're good to go. But it's not every time it renders. With unmount, it just is when it's removed from the DOM. On update is when any of the state or attributes are updated, and should update is the same thing, except it's before. So should update is before, on update is after, mount, unmount is when it's put on the DOM, and render is just what renders. So now we want to go to state. So state management is good, let's say if you want to change values without having to modify the inner HTML. So we can go here and we can say state is equal to here, name, and we can say Bob, a traditional name. So in here, we could do one of two things. So here we could go this.state.name, or as I mentioned before, we have attributes. So we could also do this.attributes.name, or since it is in render, we could do here and we can go name, and whatever's passed in here will be put here. Now the fun thing about this is what we can say is when we click this, onClick is equal to here, we can do event handling dynamically. So these are known as templates. So when we go into here and we do an arrow function inside a function holder, I don't know the proper name, we can add that, but we're not finished. So we'll go and give a class name of swap name. And we'll in this, we'll take the name, so this.state.name, so we need to change that afterwards, is equal to, and then we'll create a little one line if statement. So this state.name is equal to Bob. We'll return Luke, otherwise return Bob again. And then all we have to do is go over to here and do this dot swap name and change this to this dot state dot name. So instead of having it here, here is when it's set through an attribute, whereas this is when it's changed through the state. So now if we go here and we go npm run dev, and we go back to the web page, you can see Bob, and you reopen it, that's fine. Click on it, Luke, Bob, Luke. So as you can see, it does it fast, it does it live. So that's pretty cool. So I believe, if anything, yeah, I covered everything we need. So there is how to create a component, how to import styles, how to do state management, attribute management. You can have methods that have event handling, and then importing and exporting. I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. If you guys did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to hear more content, and I will see you guys around. Have a good day.